TradingView can seem confusing because most people don't teach you how to use it properly. So in today's video, I want to go over how to use TradingView, the tools that I use, indicators, things of that nature. So let's get into it. If you like the video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. So first, when you come into TradingView, it's going to maybe look like this for you, where you come into the main home page. All you gotta do is just launch super charts. So the first thing that you're going to notice when you first come on to your chart is probably going to be this watch list over here. Now I'm going to do a very simplified version of this because I don't really use a watch list. I like to keep my chart pretty clean. But just to give you an overview, it's not where you actually place trades. It's exactly where it sounds. It's where you can watch where price is at. If you want to add, just hit this plus sign over here. And you come here, you can see all the different stocks, funds, features, etc. So say I wanted to add Netflix to my watch list, you can go ahead and click on this to add a bookmark type of situation to color code it. Or you can just hit the plus symbol, and then once you hit that plus symbol, close out, Netflix should be added with the bookmark that I chose. So that's a very simplified version of the watch list. I just keep this pretty simple and clean. Again, I don't really use this too much. And then just go ahead and hit this little bookmark tab over here to close it out, and then your chart is all clean. But yeah, so you're going to come to the chart. It's going to look like this. So your chart colors may be red and green. That's the first thing I will teach you guys how to change, because psychologically, if you're seeing red and green candles, it can mess with your mental, and you can think about, when you think about red, you think about bad. When you think about green, you think about good. And it doesn't mean that. It should be neutral. So I changed my colors to blue and black. So you want to go ahead and right click on your mouse, and then it should come up on settings. And here you should be able to change things. So we can actually just go through this whole entire thing so you can see. You can change your background. I have mine to white. Some people prefer black. Depends on what you want to do. So you can change that. You can change the watermarks on here, where it's like it shows whatever entity or feature or stock that you're on here. Let's go into symbol. So symbol is how you change the candle size. Sorry, not size, the colors. So yeah, this is what I have for my candles. If you want to copy me, I have the blue body, and the black is the rest. And then same thing with this. And I'm not gonna change the blue because it's so much work to change it back, but I'll show you guys. So see, you can change it. That's ugly. Green, black, purple, whatever you want. I just don't like having green and red. If you want to have green and blue or whatever like suits your color palette, go for it. Now time zone, I'm in Eastern Standard Time zone, so I have it for UTC -5. Make sure your time zone is where you're at is super important. So that's about it. I don't think I have anything crazy in my settings. I don't even touch like none of this stuff I care about. I don't touch any of this. Yeah. Okay, so you hit okay. So again, if you're completely new, first you want to start off and make sure that you're on the right symbol. So for me, again, I trade NQ and ES. So if you don't know, just come in here, type in NQ. It's going to pop up. The first one that you see is the correct one with the 100. Make sure it says CME. CME is the data exchange. Basically is where you get the data from when you're trading live. So make sure it says CME. You come in here now. It can get a little complicated because we have different timelines. So obviously you see December, March, June, and then it keeps going 2026. So obviously right now our symbol is NQZ because we're in December 2025. And they make it pretty simple. Most brokerage, like for me, if I trade Top Step, they automatically change the symbol for you. But if you're not on Top Step, just make sure you're on the right one, which is NQZ for this month. And then, going forward, just make sure you double check the dates of where you're at, because it does change. So click on that. Boom, now we're on the proper one. So then I don't use volume indicators. So what I would do is I would go ahead and remove the indicator there. So just come to this trash can on the side and delete that indicator because I don't use volume. So I want my chart to look like this, pretty plain, pretty simple. So now I'm going to go through all the tools that we have just so that you guys are familiar. So first thing first, you have to cross. Pretty simple for like marking out and see where price is at. I use these to find SMTs. So that's what I would use it for, but it's pretty convenient. And then what I have is the star. So when you put the star, it goes to your toolbar to make it easier to find. So I'm going to unstar that one, but just click the star. Boom, it's there. Now it's not. I don't use magic or demonstration and any of that stuff in there. I wouldn't even worry too much about that. Okay, obviously you have your trend lines, but this is your trend line. This is how people, like you see on the videos, they'll like mark it down, just a trend line. this. Now if you want it to be straight and like follow straight through, you hold shift and it will stay straight. You see? And if you right click on your trend line, I have templates. So for example, break even looks like that. I can make it do, let's say, buy side looks like that. And then how you make your template. So if you wanted to change how this looks, you just go to settings and then you could edit. So you have the line colors, whatever line color you want it, right? You could add the text in there. So that's why it says buy side liquidity for me, BSL. You can put whatever you want. See, that's just me putting type in there. Of course, you have your font size, where you want it to be. I mean, some of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. For as line, I forgot to go over this. You could go over like the thickness. You could do the dots as well. So this is how you got the line style, how big you want it to be, opacity. All those great things are going to be in your settings. So let's say you want to save this template when you're done editing. Let's go down here and then save as. Oh, let me do that. Save as, and then just type in whatever name. So test for vid. Save as. Okay. Then I'll come back in here. Test for vid. It's right there. And if I want to get rid of this template, just trash icon. So pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I don't want that in there. And then again, everything I'm doing is right clicking. So remove this from my chart. So to continue on, the only one I recommend harding is trend line, and then the cross line is what I use. Okay, and then you go down. So you have the Fibonacci tool. Love me some Fibonacci tool. This is how mine look. This is how I tell what premium and discount is. If you're not familiar with premium and discount, I will make a video on that shortly here so you guys can understand what premium and discount looks like and what that means for this. But for the sake of this video, this is how my Fibonacci tool looks like. I also use this to find the consequent encroachment of fair value gaps. So if I'm trying to see like a certain target or where we might be, then I want to look at that. Same thing with equilibrium. So the Fibonacci tool comes in handy with a bunch of different things. I'm going to show you guys my settings so that you guys have it. This is how my fib looks like. 0, 1, and then 0.5. You can change the colors. I have it like this because I like my stuff to be, I have like this kind of like my stuff to be pretty neutral. But you could do whatever color you want, whatever your heart desires. I just like to have a plain neutral, like chill chart. You know what I mean? This is how I have the rest of my settings. So background for opacity, right? You can do it like that. That I have mine's kind of like in the middle there. Levels. Make sure how it says values, and just copy essentially this if you want it to be exactly like mine. This stuff over here doesn't really matter. I don't mess with any of that stuff. Just want to have like this. And then remember, when you're done copying me, come down, save as, and then you have your equilibrium. And then another thing I use is standard deviation. So let me just go to my standard deviation tool. This is how my standard deviation looks. These are my settings, so make sure you copy these down if you're into standard deviation. Again, I will do another video on that, but this is just my tool so you can get set up like me. Oh, I did not mean to get rid of that. Sorry. All right. Take a screenshot, take a picture. Hopefully you get this. And then same thing with this, copy this part too, and my opacity is down. Okay, perfect. So that's the fib tool. The next one I want to go into, I don't use any of this stuff either, so skip all that. Especially when you're first starting out too. Don't overcomplicate the chart, don't overcomplicate what you're using. I have like, as you can see, maybe like 5 or 6 tools up here, maybe 7, estimating, but I'm not going crazy with the tools I use. Okay, so the next thing, this is super important. You want to have your long position. And this is what people use to find their ratios and their targets. So let's say pretend I'm trading this, stop at this low, maybe I entered there, and then I can be like, okay, my target is at this high. Well, boom, now you see my risk to reward ratio is 2.4 RR. You can see your P&L. You can see what your stop is at, the points, all those things, super important. So you want to go ahead, that was over here. Heart your long and heart your short, same way. You will mark out your targets. Mark out your entry with this line here, and then your stop. I don't change the settings. I know they have settings on here. You can change the color and all that. I don't really care. I like how it looks. I don't need to change that. Okay, coming in here, the only thing I use in here, so I have my brush tool. I usually like to do this for if I'm explaining something. So say I'm like explain the wicks, things of that nature. Remove. Self-explanatory, you can just hide it there. Now, what is important is this rectangle. I use this for my fair value gaps, so super important to get that rectangle. And then I have templates here, so you can see I have BPR, different ones there, fair value gap, new week opening gap, order blocks. So I recommend my settings. I just come in here, my background, I change it how I want to, text, bold if I want to be bold, whatever you want to do, just come in here. And again, that was over here in this tab. You want to come down, heart your rectangle. Then you have the arrow tool. So this is like if I'm planning where I want price to go, or if I'm explaining how price is going to go, things of that nature. So you don't really need this tool, but it's helpful. So it's called the path tool, heart that. Again, it's all up to you what you want to do. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, you have text. I don't use any of this. You have emojis, zoom in, measure tool, things like that. I don't touch any of this. Drawings, if you want to keep them, keep it locked, whatever. The only other thing I use after that is just come into the trash can to delete my chart to make it clean. So it's pretty simple stuff. And then indicators. So actually, before I skip over the indicators, let me go over times, because this should be blank for you if you're coming in here. So it's super important not to rely on one time frame, of course, and you also don't want to overdo it. So how I do it is you can see I have a favorited the 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, and then 1 day. I am a day trader. I'm not a swing trader. So if I am swing trading, then it might look a little different where you might want to go into the months and in the 12 months and stuff like that. I'm only using the daily time frame, highest and the lowest. Sorry, I have a cat. She just hopped into the video. Nala, do you want to say hi to the camera? She's kind of a little shy. This is my kitty, Nala. Look at the camera. Isn't she cute, guys? Okay. Yeah, she's just coming and saying hi while I'm shooting this video. All right. Cool. So, yeah, this is the she done messed me up. This is the chart settings that I use for time. So I go ahead and heart all this. You can heart what you want. I'm not going lower than the 30-second. I know some people use the 15-second. I'm not the biggest fan. And then, yeah, once you have it set, you come up here and you'll be able to click, where you want to be. Now, if your chart, when you first come on, does not look like the candlesticks, you could change that up here. So if you go into the little downward arrow down here, if you come to downward and candle down here, arrow down here, you can change the candles. I have line hearted, but I don't really use lined. When I was first beginning, I would use line to see higher highs, higher lows, things like that. But realistically, you don't really need that. Just focus on having the candles. Heart that and make sure you do that up here. The rest of the stuff I don't use, so I'm not going to go into it. And then you have your indicators. So the only indicator I use is the sessions indicator right here. I have a bunch of stuff saved, of course, but this is when I was figuring out what I use. I really use the sessions indicator. The higher time frame power of 3 is pretty good too, but that's a whole different video. But yeah, the only thing you really need is sessions indicator. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It should pop up. Sessions. If you don't have it already saved, for me, just type in sessions. It's by Luck Algo. So when you add your sessions indicator, you want to go ahead and come up here to this little gear looking thing, and this is the settings I have for that. So I'm on Eastern Standard Time Zone, so it might be a little off for your time zone if you're not on the East Coast, but for my East Coast friends, this is what it looks like. And then I have the time zone should be -5. Colors and stuff you can change, whatever. But the 3 sessions you need, New York, London, and Asia. And then it just makes it easier. So when I'm marking out on the day, I can easily come in here instead of guessing. I can look at it and okay, this is New York's high right here, New York's low. It makes it so easier to find my liquidity for the day. So that is what that looks like. What else do I want to go over? Of course, you have buy and sell. If you want to connect to your broker, so I use TopStep, which means they have TopStep X. They don't allow TradingView for their platform, but I do use it as just my main charting tool throughout the day and not just execute on Top Step. But if your broker is in here, you can go ahead and connect your broker as well, like TradeStation, Amp is good. I know a lot of these guys in here. Trade Zero, pretty familiar. Not sponsored with any of these people, but I just am familiar with the brokers. Paper trading, if you want to come here, if you're not, like, say you don't have a brokerage yet and you just want to get familiar with the chart and placing trades, you should be able to paper trade. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Yeah, you paper trade, bring this back down, and now if I wanted to place a trade really quick, just pretend, I'll right click and I'll be like buy. Let's say I want to buy NQ. Then you have your TP, you just bring that up. Then you have your stop loss, just bring that down. Other thing you could do too is replay. So you could come into the day. So if you hit replay, you can come down here just to like change the date, randomize it, or bar replay. Obviously bar is just going back. Yeah, this is the replay, and then you could go to your time, your different time frames and stuff like that. But that's a replay tool. Really good for back testing. I do recommend. Of course, you have, before I accept the replay tool, you have replay speed. You could come in and you could do 10x, however fast you want to do. This is obviously 10x is crazy. That's kind of, then you could do like 1x, which is super slow. The other thing I would say you would like to know is changing your chart. So for me, I usually have NQ and ES open on the other side so that I can find SMTs. So let me get out of replay mode. Yes, leave replay mode. So yeah, I usually have like this. This is, I think, the paid version. You have to have the two charts. But as you can see too, so when I'm doing the cross, this is where the cross comes in handy. Oh, not this one. Oops. Where is my crosshairs? It makes it easier to see where SMTs are because I can look at the highs and the lows really quick and be like, okay, either we're correlated or we're not. Like this low right here, did we sweep Asia? No, on neither end, right? We came close, but we didn't sweep Asia. There's no SMT there. But you see how easy it is for me to just come through and it's correlated. So that's one thing. I stick with the two. You could also change the layout like this. I'm more of a vertical type of person, not horizontal. And then if you want to save this, like I have it for video, just hit save, and then it will be there. You can turn on auto save as well if you want to. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful for understanding TradingView and how to use the tools that come along with it. Of course, I didn't go over everything because, again, I don't use all those tools, but just to trade how I trade and the basics of TradingView, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more free tutorials on how to day trade. Until next time.